Hey guys, I'm Captain Foley,
I got it,
and this is
Fleetyards.
Mission Briefing. He said Fleetyards in case you didn't hear. Fleetyards Mission Briefing. And as usual, what we do here is we take a first look, a first glance, look
First
at
detailed look.
details,
Yep.
yes, of some of these ships from alien franchises, from sci-fi franchises throughout the ages, whether it be novels,
Yep.
Something that's just represented once in a piece of art. Or from sci-fi shows, sci-fi movies. There's
Video
a lot,
games?
Yeah, video games. There's a lot of fantastic ships
Yep.
and things out there that we like to take a look at because we're ship guys. And
Kinda, yeah. You might have noticed.
and we want to share them with you guys, share you all the details and things we can find, discuss them, and hopefully eventually do a full Fleetyards episode on them in the future where we break down all the facts, details, and everything that's out there, all in one bite-size, well, not bite-size, maybe bigger than bite-size, maybe chocolate bar-size episode, and all in one place for all you guys.
I'll do some chocolate right now.
Yeah.
Now, Stuart, this week we actually have two ships. Now, you didn't think there were two ships, but in researching this, it's actually two different ships. So I'm excited. This first ship is the engineer's derelict ship from Alien, the very first film, and I guess we see it again in...
Prometheus?
No, we don't. Is there a second? I guess one of the games we see it again. But yeah, so Stuart, now, this is a slightly older ship, slightly older design. Did you see Alien in the cinema?
No.
Do you remember your first impression of this ship? Because this is this is sort of the ship of the franchise in a sense of the Alien.
Yep. I never understood that it was a ship.
Ooh.
It looks so odd. I never really
That's interesting.
assumed it was a ship until I was older, and then I'm like, that's the ugliest damn ship I've ever seen.
Brilliant! I did not think you were going to say that. I love when you surprise me.
It looks like an alien horseshoe.
It does look like an horseshoe. Wow.
But yeah, I when I was young, I never even clicked that it was a ship because it just doesn't look ship-like at all. I was too ape-brained, thinking it's not mechanical, But
I mean, it could be like a cathedral in rock.
yeah,
It could be.
It's ugly as sin.
And that's his final thoughts on the note. Okay. I mean, I watched Alien. Alien's interesting because when I was younger, like sort of 8, 10,
Yeah, 'cause
12.
you're still young.
Yeah, thanks. When I was pre-18 to not watch these things, I actually sneaked. My dad and parents had VHSs of these things, and I knew they were classics. I mean, these are. I think classics should be appreciated, no matter what age. I think I felt I was old enough, so I watched this when I was way younger than I theoretically should have. Didn't affect me. I really enjoyed it. But with the volume at like 12%, just trying to hear it, so it wasn't the best experience. But I really enjoyed Alien, and I really enjoyed all those films. And so seeing it, I was like, just like you a little bit. I mean, it's such a... Because the way... I mean, here you go. Here's a brilliant high-resolution, behind-the-scenes shot of it, which I loved seeing. I found in this episode. It integrates so well into the scenery. It feels like it could be a building. You don't... half it could be buried. It doesn't really show you what the ship is.
Yeah. I always kind of thought it was like a huge alien or something. A huge dead body or...
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we will talk about Prometheus in a little bit, when we flesh it out a bit. But in this film, it's such an alien film. It's such an alien ship. And I think, as a design, it's very, very interesting, because it doesn't give that much away, and you don't understand it. We do now understand it because of Prometheus. And I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. But very, very interesting. And the space jockey, that set, beautiful set.
Okay, having said that though, like we understand it more because of Prometheus, which is the prequel. If you need to have, if you have a franchise, and you need to make a prequel to make people understand what was in your first one, I think you failed. You shouldn't have to have it explained in a prequel to really have people understand what it is. So I don't know if that was. That's my opinion.
Well, prequels are tricky. Now, obviously, you could say the same for Star Wars. I mean, now you now understand the tale of Darth Vader because of the prequels.
No, you don't, because they screwed that up. There's actually a real tale of Darth Vader before the prequels.
Was it?
Yeah,
but that was.
I got the book up there.
Well,
There's
the volcano was always the plan.
just trust me. I'll show you later.
Okay.
But that's just screwing with history, just like Enterprise did with Star Trek. Just leave it alone. Let us have the mystery of how he became Darth Vader. Don't screw it up by... Anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah, so...
But let's move to the next picture.
Yes. It doesn't need explaining, but I'm fascinated that it is. This is a great picture of the other version of the Prometheus version, what we call the engineer ship. Note, the first was derelict, this is engineer. they are actually different designs, meant to be the same, but I guess they changed them, and we'll talk about both in this episode. And they are more different than you think. And this is called the concept of Judgment Rising, or Juggernaut.
Juggernaut Rising, yeah.
If you go to the next picture, I'm sort of trying to remember what order I even did these in. So yeah, here's the actual what they did in behind the scenes.
That's fantastic. The size of that model.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the first picture, so through the lens, it looks real, almost. And look at the map, look at the painting behind that. Look at the skyscraper. It's brilliant. I mean, that film holds up.
Yeah,
holds up. It does. Yep. Next picture. So here's the physical miniature, being constructed. And what do you think now, taken out of context, being able to see it as what it was?
It's very similar to the H.R. Geiger look for the aliens. It's He's got the little detailing here, like similar shape to the head of the alien. You got like the little. It just there's a lot.
The pipes like the at the back.
Yeah. There's a lot going on that's organic yet mechanical. It's a tough read for me. You don't really see it in this much detail in the movie. It's very dark. It's very. Again, that's one of the reasons as a kid I didn't understand what the hell was going on.
Yeah, you take it out of the background. It's like, oh wait, that's where it ends. That's where the ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I will say that before Prometheus and such, it is so similar in design to the aliens. I think people were totally within their right to assume the ship's controlled by aliens or something.
Yeah.
And the eggs just happen to be early versions. Maybe they evolve into people that can talk and walk and use spaceships. Why wouldn't they? We only see the lifespan in the first film of a couple of hours or maybe a day. Give it more time, give it more brains to eat, and people to devour. Give it more time to grow. Maybe it would be obviously then aliens, they become like just cannon fodder, but it's still awesome. Alien 3 it becomes a one very quick version. Alien 4 cloned and weird ones. But the initial concept, I think it's odd that it's so similar. Now Prometheus, we know that there's a prequel, they sort of link together. Still, I don't think it should look as similar to Aliens as I think it does. But that was the style of the movie. That was their design aesthetic. Yeah. But still, I think very interesting. And it defies a lot of the conventions of what we think of. And I'll also get more details a little bit. So go to the next picture and let's see what we have next. Actual detail close-up of the miniature. What do you think?
I don't know. It's organic, but with this one, it's not so much. This seems more like a submarine kind of vibe, especially with the detailing the way it is. I don't know. It's just this is an odd picture with the highlighting the way it is. Seeing all these contours and
it's sort of veiny, or sort of pinstripey, like if it was pinstripes, but lots like raised. It's like the grilling on the Enterprise just now, instead of going into the saucer, pushing out the saucer. So it could just be highlighting, or it could be pipes, or the ship's huge. It could just be pipes. It's difficult to work out a scale and feel. It's kind of like hide, but also not.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting texture.
I don't know if I like it.
Yeah, I understand why you say that. Next picture should be the other side. This you get to see the holes, those organic shapes that also feature on the alien. What do you think of this shot?
Well, this is interesting. I would assume that this is more like the bridge module of the ship with the forward-facing windows and.
Okay.
That's kind of what I get from this.
Okay.
But yeah, it does have that same shape as the alien head. It's got the same detailing.
Actually is, yeah.
Those windows are very similar to the detailing that we see on the alien. A lot of different parts of the body and along the skull. It's just so odd. I just don't like it.
I remember when I was young, or younger, as you said, I didn't know which way it flew.
Yeah, same here.
I had no idea. I mean, I'm actually kind of like, I kind of pleased the way they went with it in the end, but it looks like a hammer as well. I mean, you wonder why, and again, we'll go into the Prometheus stuff in a minute to why we think the functions, but it's a ship that you can tell they sketched it and thought, well, that's different. They built it to look even more different, but I pretty much guarantee they didn't flesh out at all. I mean, all you see is a corridor, a big-ass room, which we sort of vaguely knew what it was for, but not really.
Yeah.
And then an underground bit, which is weird because it's a ship, an under cavern, which is a cavern with eggs, a lot of eggs, and they're very neat there. When queens produce eggs, it's sort of neat, but you also need a queen. Well, we have seen in video games the drones actually take eggs and move them, but someone's going to move them there. I mean, I would assume like the aliens had to like. It's so neat. Like
the aliens have OCD.
Well, that queen did, yeah. Maybe it came from a very OCD human, and then like, oh, the eggs must be perfect.
Yeah, I was the host.
What?
Of the,
is that the future or the past?
That could be
tease.
That could be a hint or a tease to another
tease.
Fleetyards mission one. Briefing.
Watch all our Fleetyards all the way through on the Alien franchise. You'll enjoy it. But the next picture, Stuart. This surprised me.
Yeah, this is like a model or a diorama of some kind, and it's like a big door at the back there. Yeah, it's just.
So this is a model kit, I believe, or a porcelain model that was made based on the miniature.
Yeah.
With an angle you never saw, which is why it intrigues me so much. You know the first angle.
Yeah.
This really is so different, and it's a weird shape. It's less of a horseshoe now. It's more of a.
It's like a snail head, and a snail shell.
Actually, yeah.
And a hammer.
It's like ligaments. It's like, pieces. Or you're right, literally a snail. It's. I don't understand it. Although it certainly feels this way, like it flies the way it's pointing. Nice. With the back being the engine module, sort of. It thrusts. It outstretches like a lot of like pincers. It goes forward.
Yeah.
That is how I would have assumed based on this picture. More organic, I think. More like a shell. Snail creatures.
Yeah. Especially with this coloring, the way they have it detailed.
Yeah, I never knew how to back a bit like that. But those sorts of ports, exhaust vents, again on the alien, they have those sorts of holes and such. So it certainly forms. But next picture. Again, remember this is the derelict version. This I want to put in. This is a concept art for Neil Blomkamp's Aliens 5. What they had done for the. At least a version of the derelict. How cool is that?
It's not much cooler than the other one.
But the texturing is completely different.
Well, it's like
webbing.
It's like it's old and covered in like spider webs and old crap. That's the feel I get from it.
But it is different, and it I think it's smaller as well. A little bit. What a cool. Like to take it out of the context of the where we see it in the first movie, that'd been great to see it like in the same position, but then to move the camera around it and such. And what secrets could it hold? The Alienverse has not got fast and light. These guys, we think, did based on the end of Prometheus. But again, we're getting ahead of ourselves there. So the next picture, we see. I just want to show the internals.
Yeah, this thing confused the hell out of me as a kid too. Like, is it a gun with a dude in a chair, or why is it so big? Was it a statue? Was it representative of something else? Was it literally a guy in a chair? I didn't know. And
wasn't that cool though?
Not knowing?
Yeah.
No.
But you just said earlier you didn't want to know the stuff about the ship.
True, but it's still, it confused me as a kid, and that's why I don't know. That's why I don't like it. I think if I understood it better, I would probably like it.
But we do understand it now, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Yeah, I always. Yeah, I mean, looks like a gun, and I think the.
Yeah.
But what a wonderful set though. But again, the walls look like alien skin. So it's an alien ship. They built it, they designed it, whatever, or they grew it, which would be. I would love the idea of the aliens actually. Sort of like in Starship Troopers, they have spacecraft-ish. They just they're living creatures. Wouldn't it be cool if this was an alien ship and they? I know that when aliens actually go onto a ship, they do add slime that sort of hardens into a shell, and that does sort of convert parts of the ship. So there is some precedent. This could just be whatever. I mean, it's not because we saw it in Prometheus, but it could have been the idea of a ship, and then it's been converted by the aliens. They've walked around it for years, decades, eons, and then we find them after in stasis or something. but beautiful set to build, and I'm glad Ridley continued to make cool sets.
Look at the size of it too, compared to people.
Yeah, this was one of the trailer shots, but this was like a selling sort of sci-fi moment. But the next picture.
Did it not confuse you though?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. Here's a concept.
Well, this is H.R. Geiger artwork.
Yes, this is the original. How cool is that?
It's very cool. And then Prometheus turned the head into like a helmet.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like that.
Yeah.
But it's just so odd. It just Geiger he was a genius, I guess.
Of his style.
Yeah, but he's a little bit not
Pukey
right.
for Cocoa Puffs.
If you look at his artwork, there's some strange stuff going on. There's some, lots of phallic symbols, lots of weird, organic mashups. It's just he's an odd duck. That's a good way to put it.
Yes.
And
we should know.
I don't understand.
Well, we're going to be on Prometheus in a minute. So, Stuart, the next picture, if you will. So this next shot is how it looks a few years ago. I just thought it'd be fun to see the real miniature.
Oh, the real miniature.
But it kind of degraded a bit, unfortunately, with time.
Yeah.
And again, different perspective, so that we can see the other two ports were at the back on the real miniature.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't hold up very well.
Now,
next up, we got
this
impressive shot.
This is from Prometheus.
Yes.
Many, many years later, as you will remember, Stuart, a prequel was made called Prometheus, which was meant to be a non-alien alien film, which then made a sequel, Alien Covenant, which is actually an alien film, which links the two. He wanted to not be a full alien, which I thought was a misstep. He should have been, this is an alien prequel, rather than, this is a alien verse, but not. It was strange. And yet they used this shape. Again, I'm not going to say iconic, but very recognisable, I think.
You know what we should call this?
Oh, what?
The Donut of Doom.
There was some doom planned with this ship.
Yeah.
Here it is in the docking moorings. You don't get a sense of scale, but it does feel big.
Yes.
And this is when the question... This is what I didn't realise. If you go to the next picture, Stuart. This is the compared ships. This is the Derelict versus the Juggernaut. This is how they're different.
Wow.
What do you think?
That's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they're scaled properly or not. Because one could be like a larger, like heavy cruiser class. The other could be like a destroyer. Basically same shape, but subtle little changes. Or it could just be a different age. Yep. This one being older, this one being a more modern design. Just using the original.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't get a sense in the movie that they redesigned it, but they really did. I think they improved it. I think they improved it a lot, personally.
Yeah.
I think the shapes work better for the new version. The way we see the movie, it actually flies with the two pod being the engines. So it goes that way, which this shape I think looks better to look like sort of aerodynamic.
So these are the engines that flies that way.
Yes.
Flies up.
Yes. Which I like. I actually think that works better for this shape.
Yeah.
It's not what you'd think.
Yeah.
And it does have FTL, we see in the movie. Got those two pods. I just think it brings the shape better together. But again, he was able to get away with it because in the movie you only saw it from this one perspective, but in this other movie, different. And I thought it was worth saying. There was two. So this first part was the Derelict. Now we move on to the Juggernaut because it is different.